Hello, folks. Just give me a minute. I'll Mm, let's wait for a few more minutes. Until then, if you have any questions, you can type in the chat and we can discuss those things. Mm, Hey, hi Siddharth. 4 minutes and 5 more minutes, and then we'll begin. Mm, I'll tell. Again, I was talking to someone yesterday, and he was mentioning that in his current organization he's not getting much of an exposure. Like, they have recruited him, but then he wasn't getting that much of exposures. I cannot reveal the name. It's a service based company, but then they put him across on a project, but he's not getting these things. So I told him that he can start looking for some open source projects and he can write them in his resume. But then, like, he was like that, I mean, why, like, is it really worth it adding the open source projects in the resume and all? And like, would it make any like problem with his current organization? So yes, so there are certain organizations which kind of restrict you for contributing on the open source project. So if you are like planning to contribute in any of the open source projects, because what would happen is that probably that open source project might be used by one of their competitor, and also kind of, if you're like working on that open source projects, you're kind of strengthening the competitor, which is against the policies. So if you are planning to work on any of the open source projects, check with your organization if that is allowed or not, because that can have its own repercussions. And then the second, if it is allowed, then it is very much a thing that you can mention in your resume. In fact, a lot of like organizations look at like what you're doing beyond your work. So open source projects is one good thing that can kind of enrich your profile, especially if you're not having that kind of a good exposure in your current role or current organization. The kind of projects and all that you are getting are not up to the mark. So that is something that actually will add a lot of value. And secondary, if secondary, like if there are some issues with doing the open source projects, then the other option that you can go for is go for some projects that you can do by yourself, like create some small prototypes and something, publish them on GitHub and all. That is also like completely fine. You can mention them, mention these things in your resume, because this is another like see, people are looking at what you're doing to basically like one is definitely what you're working at, and then the other thing is like what you are doing to enrich your profile. Are you kind of making some efforts to learn the things beyond your work and all, right? And this open source projects and this thing, for example, like building big and small prototypes for yourself, even like working on hackathons and all, these are the things which are kind of very valued in the industry. So it makes sense to put all these things in your resume. Like, don't be shy about mentioning these things, but at the same time, check with your organization. There should be no policies that are kind of restricted you from doing these things. I mean, ultimately, like the primary thing is like you have, I mean, you have the commitment towards your organization, so don't violate that. But if these things are allowed, like definitely go for them. They make a lot of sense. They'll add a lot of value, right? So yeah, it's almost like 104. I think we can start, right? So the folks who are there on the call, they can just mention their profile, right? And we'll try to start with them, right? Just write your name. I see some folks who have just written their name. I'll try to figure out their resumes first. One more thing, guys. This is the live YouTube session. So your resumes will be projected on screen. So if you're not comfortable sharing your resume on screen, just let me know and I'll not open that, right? Okay, cool. With that, let's start. So I'll go in the order only in which I am seeing the chat. So I'll start with Siddharth. Let me see if I can find the resume of Siddharth. Right. Uh, Siddharth Prakash. Is that you? Siddharth Prakash? I don't find anything with Siddharth Sebran. I have a resume with Siddharth Prakash. If that is you. No. Cool. No worries. Siddharth. Okay, I can see Mukesh. Okay, so I'll start with Mukesh. If I can see the resume for Mukesh. Mukesh, yeah, I have your profile. Let's start with your profile. Right, cool. Let me just download and open. Right, and I'll present. Share my screen. Share. Okay. Cool. So I think the resume should be available online, right? Let's start with it. Mukesh Sai. That is fine. Links are there for your profile. Links work. Cool, they work. Right. So other than that, your other profiles are fine, right? Looks good. Cool. Courtship and all right. Just change the order of the profile, right? I mean, when you are like a college student and when you are a professional person, the sequencing of the things should be different, right? So this professional experience should come first. Now, like before, I mean, the chronology should be something like that you have done in the past, then after that, and after that, when moving towards the future and the present, right? In fact, it should start with like what you want to do in the future. So probably some initial statements that this, I mean, a summary of like what you have done in the past and what you want to do in the future. These are the things that you should be starting with, not that those standard lines which are available online. Don't just like go ahead and copy paste them. Don't generate these things from AI and all. Be very like be very honest about these things, because like I mean, as interviewers, like I mean, interviewers go through like hundreds of resumes, right? So they know like this language I've already read, right? So try to draft this thing by yourself, like just note down. I mean, this is one good practice. Like try to do this. Just note down, like take a pen and a paper, spend around 20-25 minutes, just note down what you have done in the past, right? And based on like say like collate like 6-7 pointers for yourself, right? It should be like mixed of your tech skills, the tech things that you have done, plus the other like the non-tech things like leadership and all, right? So note down all these things, try to come up with a good statement, right, and draft it here. And then after that, like write in one statement what you do want to do in the future, right? So that should be like your initial statement, right? Which I think that you should add here, right? Change the chronology, then move up the professional experience, right? Open source contributor. See, he has mentioned the open source contribution, right? So it actually like makes sense to add these things, right? Don't be apprehensive unless your organization is kind of restricting it. Conducting that looks fine, right? I'll review in the order which I'll expect like the project to be in, right? The resume to be in, right? So this professional experience looks good, right? The numbers and all are well highlighted, right? See if you would add like want to add like at least one more point. Oh, you have just like worked on one month for each of the projects. See, this could be like actually concerning. Like, I mean, just 1 month on one project. Like, is that it was a kind of a like a limited internship opportunity that you got like just 2 months? And even if like 2 months, like there should be at least one more point in there, right? One point is just too less to describe what you did in 2 months, right? So at least like add one more pointer around this. Okay. The link to the certificate is there, right? Try to add one more point for each of these items, right? One point is too less, trust me. Even for example, like if we take a look at this, like May, June, July, August, right? It's been like 4 months, right? There should be something more that you have done here, right? And then the projects, cricket analysis, Python web scrapping, scrap data from pandas. Hey, highlight these things like pandas and all, like the tech, either like either towards the end, or you have mentioned these things here, Python web scraping, cool, then it's fine. Pandas and created a Power BI report to evaluate player performance metrics and or selected team using the Power BI dashboard has. That is fine. Now after this, your education should come in, right? So BTech Computer Science VIT. Now that is fine. Training is fine, right? Move up this section, the skill section. That should be like before, even before the professional experience, right? Because when the interviewer will look at your resume, he would want to like start with what technical things that you have worked on, right? So move this towards the topic exactly like after the first line that we are discussing. This skill section should come in. Data visualization tools is fine, libraries is fine, data analytics is fine, then achievements is fine, certificates is fine. Other than that, it looks good, right? Cool. Other than that, it looks perfect, right? Just change the sequencing and just try to add few more pointers here, right? Other than that, it should be good. Also, like one more point that I have been like constantly like reiterating is, if you are comfortable working anywhere in India, don't put the location here, right? That is one of the tips that my mentor gave. That don't put the location if you are comfortable working anywhere in India. If you want to restrict to this specific location, only then put the location here, right? Otherwise, for example, like I believe that this should be like somewhere in Karnataka, right? So even if like you're comfortable working in Bangalore, India, just mention like Karnataka or something, right? Don't be very specific like from where you belong. Like no one wants to, I mean, look at like where do you belong to, right? We don't have that kind of a bias that okay, I'll only like hire someone from South India or North India or East India or West India, right? So it's like not needed at all. Only if you have this restriction, that constraint that only I'll be working in this location, then it makes sense. Otherwise, get rid of it. Cool, yeah. Mostly done. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, we did for Mukesh. Right. Next, I can see Harshvardhan, right? Let's open up the resume for Harshvardhan. Let me see. Cool. I found your resume. Harshvardhan, right? Okay, I'll present now. Mm, cool. Let's start with Harshvardhan, right? So location is fine. I mean, if I'm assuming that he wants to work in, he wants to work here only in Bangalore, right? Other than that, the things are looking fine, the links and all are there. Again, that first line is missing. Try to add that line, it kind of adds value, don't miss on that, right? Again, the same problem, education should move like move below, right? It should be like after the experience, right? The chronology thing that we are discussing. Cool, yeah. Skills, JavaScript, this looks fine. Angular here. I mean, one more thing you can mention here is like the tools that you have worked on. For example, like IntelliJ and all those things are also something that you can mention. Git and all, if you have, oh, you have mentioned Git. Oh, Git is not a programming language. See, I mean, this is wrong. Like, Git is not programming language. See, like even like HTML, CSS are like scripting languages, not programming languages. MySQL is not a programming language; it's a database, right? So be very particular, like how do you categorize? Some people might not be very particular about it, but kind of expresses like, I mean, kind of expresses your knowledge. And also try to be a bit more cautious about like how you are defining these things, right? So see if you would want to like reorganize this whole section. I think that if I would have been at your place, I would have done that. Infosys currently working as a software development engineer in Apple project, increase the speed. This looks fine. Reduce the loading time. Looks fine. The loading time, like you highlighted speed here. Loading time can also be highlighted here, right? By implementing pagination approach for fetching large data from database at one time. Added a toolkit. Okay. See if you would want to like which database that you are using. Like I believe that you have mentioned here MySQL, right? So it should be MySQL here, right? So you can mention the name of the database. Added a toolkit feature consisting of some drop down elements which can be dragged and dropped. Developed mobile and target platform views. Developed the pages in Angular and worked on API integration and end-to-end functionality. Restructured the whole module in Angular to improve the efficiency and UI collab consistently for the UAT testing before the production deployment. Otherwise the things look fine, right? Maybe see if you there are a lot of things that you have done here, right? So maybe like worth putting skills, like in the previous resume we saw that just after the project he has mentioned the technologies that were used in the project in one line somewhere here, right? So maybe you can also like consider putting them here, or you can end after like after the roles and responsibility, just like write one liner of the same thing here, right? Then again, Infosys Limited software engineer trainee 2022 received a 4 months training on the mean stack, right? Received a training in Kubernetes and well, you mentioned that you have received a training in Kubernetes and Docker, but you haven't mentioned these things in like in the skills section, that you are not using these things on a day-to-day basis or you are underconfident. See, I mean these are good things to be added in the skill section. So consider that if you would want to add them here. E-commerce application, 3 members. This otherwise it looks fine. Just see if you would want to add like Kubernetes and Docker there as well. Projects, job search, web application. See here you have added these things, but here you have not added these things. Like why? Like add similarly like the way you have added it here, add here as well. Other than that, the application users can seamlessly post application. No need to like just write app and just link here. Just add this link icon here only, and you can just get rid of this app, right? Just mention this link icon here and add the link here. Also, it should be like mentioned as a 10 year. Like it must have been like a project is spilling for like at least 2 months, 1 to 2 months, right? So mention the range as well, right? Not just the month it got completed. So start to do application using JWT token. JWT, you again like JWT you missed here, right? In the skills, JWT token and all, right? Authentication, something like that. Think of some term that you would want to mention there. Implementation contains one module, 5 components. The app features a dashboard with 3 tabs: profile, my task, and logout, where people can. Oh, looks good. More than 180 problems on lead code. 180 problems are like people have solved like 2,000 problems. 180 is not. a very good number. That is like that I would consider as an achievement, right? Although a lot of organizations are nowadays like giving a very negative weightage to lead code, right? So that has been a general trend, that a lot of profiles, that a lot of people uh, like devalue the value of lead code. I'm not sure like for what reason, but I've seen that a lot of people are like not, I mean, like it's getting a negative popularity for some reason, which I am not sure why. But be very cautious of like using lead code, and trust me, like 180 is very less. I mean, people solve like 800, 900 problems. So even if you want to mention, move it towards the bottom. I've been awarded with Ninja Award in Infosys. That is fine. Like mark this in bold as well. My team received the best team award. Receive the best team award in Infosys in 2021 is fine, right? My team, that is fine, right? Receive the best team award. You would be mentioning about your team only. Completed a certification on Spring Boot on Udemy is fine. Qualified hack with Infi Pan India exam, that is fine. Have been vice president. Uh, Mark this in bold, right? And move the lead code part toward the end. Other than that, it looks fine. Cool, cool. Let's move on to the next one, right? So Harshvardhan is done. Siddhant. Let's see Siddhant. Uh, Siddhant Prakash is. I'm assuming it should be Siddhant Prakash, right? So let's take a look at Siddhant resume, right? Cool. Siddhant Prakash. This is fine. The LinkedIn profile is missing. Add the LinkedIn profile as well, right? It is here, right? I'm not sure. I would like. I'm not sure. This place is the right place to be used. I would always prefer to see the LinkedIn profile here only, right? Because I mean, at any point of time, like if I want to know anything or look at anything, it should be the first thing that I should be seeing on the screen. So see if you would want to add the LinkedIn profile here, or else move all these links like up, all these links towards the top. Like this should be the first section that I should be looking at. So that basically, I mean, at the first glance, I need access to all the profiles and information sources that I can for you. So like, consider moving this up, or like probably add the LinkedIn profile here only. Validated pragmatically that the data migrated is as per the requirements, data migration requirement specifications, and verified data by doing the element and provided consistent data to the target system responsible for data analysis and writing complex SQL queries, understand business requirements, develop unit test cases. I'll tell you one basic problem that I'm seeing here, which is that in all the pointers that I can see, right, I can only see that what was something that you did, right? What was the outcome that is completely missing here, right? So I mean, as a person who would want to hire you, I would also like want to look at like what was the outcome of the things that you did, right? For example, like you improve the performance, right? For example, here you mentioned provided consistent data to the target system, right? What was the ultimate goal of this thing? What was the impact that it created, right? Mention those things as well, right? Just providing like, I mean, what you did would not be very helpful, because like the person who is sitting, I mean, is sitting in front of you, he also wants to know the outcome, like what was the impact that you created, right? So consider adding all those things, and consider highlighting also like all those things, because the outcomes need to be like highlighted. One should be able to like take a quick look at, okay, this was the impact that you created, right? Also, I mean, consistency, like why, like the font size here is different, the font size here is completely different, right? So have a consistent font across the whole resume, right? Like in general, have a consistent font all across. Doesn't make sense to like have one font in, for example, like font size 14, another in 11, right? So try to have a consistent font size. Built a web scraper that scraps details from which iterate through all the IPL matches and give details for the scorecard, like the team venue result. Mm. Extracted out the data using cheer.io request. My God, like all of the folks are like making the projects on cricket. Like India is a big cricket fan country, but I didn't know like the cricket. I mean, when we were students, like the common projects were library management, hospital management. Now everyone is building like the cricket info, the like player statistics, match statistics, like hacker rank automation using Puppeteer and Node.js automated link navigated to the interview prep kit. Cool, this looks fine. Select all questions. The project is a global command line application using Node.js. Organize all files. Organizes. Use Grammarly. Use Grammarly. Like for the language validations, use Grammarly. It's a good tool. All our files from a folder into different sections so that we need not to do it manually. Use Grammarly, right? Training and workshop solved more than 100 plus DSA problems on scale. Computer science fundamentals. Guys, please review. Like, do you really like want to mention like these things? Solved 100 plus questions, or 600 plus questions, 800 plus questions. I'm not sure. Like, this is. Like, I'm not sure. Like, will this go as an advantage or a disadvantage, right? So think about it. Like, do you really want to mention this thing? I personally would not be like willing to mention such things in my resume. I'm like not solved these many questions as well. But yeah, personally, I would not want to like mention things like these that okay, I solved 200 problem here, 100 problem there, 50 problem there. Doesn't make sense. Like your work, like the actual work should say more. Like I would have appreciated if I would have like seen things like contributed these things to my one of the open source projects, and for example like these are the PRs that I created and all, right? Those things actually make sense because this is something that you contributed, right? This is something that you're like doing some net practice, right? A net practice is not an achievement. What you go for, like after doing that net practice, the final score that you create, that's an achievement, right? So think about it. Like, do you like really want to mention these problems and all that you have solved on these different platforms? Cool. Education is fine. This is fine. Proficient in Java, SQL, Intermediate, Node.js, JavaScript is fine. Technology, Linux. Hey, you mentioned SQL. SQL is fine. But see if you would want to mention any databases, right? For example, Postgres, MySQL, and all, right? Because SQL is very fast. And having some expertise on one specific DBMS would like database management system would be worth it to mention. So soft skills is fine. Achievements, that is fine. I mean, if you want to keep it, again, like I'm not sure, but yeah, if it is like you feel it is fine, then yeah. Analysis of algorithm, data structure, cool. Other than that, looks fine. Just move these links to the top, right? And mention like in your work experience, mention what was the outcome, not just what you did. Like it's not very worthy. One more thing, like maybe you can, I mean, you can move these things here, right? This would kind of like save some space, but not needed at the moment because you're already fitting your complete resume in one page. So right now it's fine. Say if it kind of fills in the future for 2 pages and all, you can consider moving this here. And also like one, add the synopsis, right? That one statement, not one statement, two three statement that kind of defines what you have done and what you want to do, right? Cool. Let's move ahead. Okay. Manijul Amin. Let's see if I can find resume of Manijul Amin. Sorry if I'm not able to pronounce the name correctly. Right. That's the problem. Sorry for that. Cool. I'll project. First and foremost, like add your name in the resume, right? Doesn't make sense to like only have resume underscore PDF. Your name should be there, resume underscore your name, right? That has to be here, right? The second is software engineers, like the DP, I mean, your profile picture is not needed, right? You're not like one of those people who, I mean, we are not in the media industry and all. So frankly, like, so like this profile picture, not for the sake of like removing it, but then we have this limited, like this area is limited, and we want to like put in maximum things, right? So there are a lot more other things other than your profile picture, which will be helpful in putting up in your resume, right? So considering that, maybe you can remove the DP, rate. Senior engineer. Hey Mirjun, there's one problem that I mean the first thing, like this looks like a big section, right? But it is underutilized, and prime most thing is like, as soon as like I see you, I should be able to like find some of your details, for example, your phone number, your email ID, and all, right? So I would want to like keep all these things here in this section: your phone number, email ID, and the LinkedIn profile, right? Objective. I think that Mridul, like, consider try transforming your resume. The template that you're using, it's one of the like very old templates. It's not very much in, or not very much. See, like what happens is that some things start trending. There is a trend of like creating a resume in a specific format and all, right? And as the interviewers like were constantly like taking interviews, they are accustomed to like seeing those kind of formats, right? So it's always good to adapt your resume to the kind of like to the kind of templates that are in the market, right? So that if someone starts looking at your resume, he should be able to, I mean, there's a certain kind of an association of the assets that are available in their resume, right? So if I'm looking at the resume, I know that okay, this is somewhere I'll find this information, this is the place I'll find that information and all, right? So for example, like this template, this is one of the old templates, right? So maybe worth considering to like reformat based on one of the new templates. This is like definitely an overkill, but then people have very limited time to look at resume, right? Like this is not their actual job. Their actual job is to like build systems. So this is something that they are doing part like as a part time, right? I mean, not as a part time. This is a part of their job, but not something that people are like doing very willingly. They have to do it because they want to grow the organization, they want to grow the team and all, right? So let's make their job easier so that we can like provide them some quick information, we can help them in reviewing the things quickly, right? Let's move ahead. Customer focused, solution driven individual with a knack for grasping new technologies. Professional with over 5 years of engineering experience in embedded software development and application, experience in SDLC from requirement analysis, and based on C, Java, and C, managing all project, and transfer to work individually and in teams. This last point is not needed. Plus, what I would say is that rather than putting this as like a one blanket statement, would provide like very low. Also, like, I mean, check things like why is this full stop here, right? So check use Grammarly, right? It will help you to fix up all these things. And the first thing is that like this first statement should be a practical one that kind of tells the things that you have worked on and the things that you want to work on, right? Not kind of a blanket statement which is not fulfilling any good purpose, right? So try to rephrase this whole statement. It should be a summary of all these four pointers, but including the important points. For example, C, Java, and this thing, right? Experience in SDLC, 5 years experience in embedded software, right? All these things should be merged in your like they should come out from your objective, and then finally what you aspire to do, right? This point I think you can get rid of. Personal info, the complete address is not needed if you are looking for opportunities only in Bangalore. Bangalore, India is fine. If you are open up for anything, you can just like remove this completely, right? Telephone number, put in one number, right? Plus 91, the format, check the format as well, right? Email ID is fine, right? LinkedIn profile, see, this is clipping, not looking good, right? So make sure you fix this up, right? And also, like as I mentioned, try to utilize this area. Or if you remove your image, then it will have like a lot more area here, right? Experience, Bharat Electronics Bill. Hey, the sequencing is wrong, right? It should be like, see, again, it is based on like what as like engineers or as interviewers you are accustomed to look at, right? So you will always want to start with what you are working right now, and then going below what was the past thing, then what was the past thing, right? So this is like currently what you're working on, so this should come at the top, followed by this thing. So let's read in the chronological order, the right order: mapping requirements, analyzing workflows to design solutions, planning, proof of concepts, presentation, product design, development, application development for DR118, and replay tools using Java. Highlight this thing, right? Developing applications for this on Visual Studio, again highlight this thing, right? Deployment and testing of software at the customer location where customer is primarily IF. That is fine, right? Designing, developing, testing, troubleshooting, and debugging the products, providing post implementation, developing software on finite state machine and performing. This is fine. Other things are fine, right? See if you would want to highlight certain pointers like developing software on finite state machine and performing, this thing is like worth highlighting, right? um Also, like, I mean, see, like whatever you are highlighting, that kind of is aligned with what you want to work on, right? Because, like, for example, like your resume is looking more for like to be working in as the embedded software engineer something somewhere, right? So this looks like that. So based on that only, highlight the pointers which kind of align your resume for those kind of opportunities, right? Other than that, it is good. See if you would worth, like if you would want to highlight certain things. Malnath College of Engineering, Hassan BE. Project on smart parking. And actually, the placement coordinator. Cool. Knowledge and C. Oops. DSN algorithm. Java is fine. Received. R&D made to the email project certified. Other things are fine. Like just look at the clipping. Change the format. See, like again, the format that I'm telling, that's from a pure like a software developer experience or a program manager. Some sort of like those profiles, right? But I think that those are very standard one. I think that those should be applicable to embedded software engineers as well. But again, I mean, if you think that those formats do not align with your domain, maybe check resumes of some of your colleagues and all, right, and check. If they are on those kind of formats, then probably you can adopt them. Otherwise, you can have this format. But yeah, I mean, work on some parts. Like one is like fix up all the grammatical errors. You can get rid of this pick, move, use, make a better use of the asset of the real estate that you have. And yeah, other than that, it looks fine to me. Cool. Let's move on to the next one, right? So we are done with Mirajula Amin, Siddhant Prakash. I think Siddhant, I've already done yours, right? Yes, my name is Siddhant Prakash. Naresh Ravi. Okay, let's take a look at resume of Naresh. I'll share the screen. Okay. So this is the first time I'm seeing. So actually, the problem is that his resume is in PPT, and browser is not able to open it. Let me convert this to a PDF. I'm not sure if it will look fine as a PDF or not. Right? Export to PDF. Let's see. Uh, let's see it comes out well as a PDF or not. Right? Cool. It is looking fine. Let's begin. Yeah. So Naresh, first, like the prime most like feedback, always share the resume in a PDF format. Like PPTX is not the right format for resume, right? So always share in a PDF format only. PDF, like people do share in docx as well, but PDF is a better format for sharing resumes. So never like share a PPTX resume with anyone. Cool. Going ahead, technical skills, engineer, 2+ years of experience and all. Naresh, where are like your personal like profile? I mean, your number and all. You should be putting up your phone number, your LinkedIn profile, your email ID and all, right? Think of it like, say someone wants to contact you, how will they be able to get in touch with you, right? Functional testing, HTML, CSS, React.js, Jira, DevOps, and then comma. Perhaps like you were writing something and in the middle you thought of like sharing something. So see, I mean, is this the terminating point or you still had pointers? uh, not looking good, like, and will give a lot of negative impression if you put it up like this, right? It was like you were in a haste to send it to someone and you're not done and you just like you're like it was the last minute push, so you'd had to like send it across. So not looking good. Involved in executing and reviewing regression test suite for CFTO, thereby maintaining good understanding of e-commerce side, made sure casual analysis is done for the defects raised with proper documentation. What is casual analysis? Like RCA? I'm not sure. Like root cause analysis, something that you are trying to mention. I'm not sure like what term is casual analysis. Through testing, thorough testing ensures seamless flow for customers. Naresh, I would say like work on a resume. Right now, it's in a very unpolished state. You'll have to like do a lot of work. You would have seen some resumes in the session so far. So try to adopt one of the format. It is like not like it is completely looking half baked. So I'll tell you the basic sequence. So start with your name, your general profile, your phone numbers, and all. Start with a then continue it with a synopsis, then your professional experience should come up, then your education, your any of your personal projects, and yeah, I mean after synopsis your skills should come in, right? So change this format to have that kind of a format, and then maybe let's take a look, because I'll tell you like right now, like you need to spend a lot of time in like recreating this resume. This would not help you even if like we review it. It's not going to help you enough, because it there is a lot of things that you'll have to work. I mean, spend some time. It's like put up like fetch 2-3 hours for yourself, right? Put up a good resume. This is not something that will be like really helpful for you, right? So maybe in the next session we'll review again. What I would request is like just spend 2-3 hours and recreate this whole thing, right? It is not helpful enough at the moment. Cool. Aditya Singh. Cool. Let's look at the last one for today, Aditya Singh, and then probably we'll take up the rest of them in the on next Saturday. I'll for sure like schedule one or one more session on next Saturday, right? So Aditya, I cannot find your resume. Aditya, I cannot find your resume. Are you sure you have sent me your resume? If not, you can send me again, right? And in the meantime, I'll take one more, right? So let me take resume of Akhil Naidu, right? And in the meantime, I'll review yours if you'll send me again. I cannot find it at the moment. Akhil Naidu, like so far again, like one of the best resumes from the initial layout itself. It looks like one of the best so far for today, right? Okay, Akhil Naidu, senior application engineer. I'm detailed, oriented, responsible, and committed with a get it done on time. And I have 7 years of experience in designing, implementing, testing, and delivering complex backend and front-end web application. A very decent statement. The format is looking good. Like this is one of the format I constantly see in the resume. So this looks fine. Email ID is here, phone number is here, location is here. Perhaps I'm assuming that he wants to look for opportunities in Pune only. Other than that, LinkedIn profile and GitHub profile very well laid out, right? Let's look at the skills again. Very, very, very well laid out, right? Data structure, algorithm, core, Java, Java 8, Angular, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, Spring Hibernate, MVC, CSS, JDBC, JavaScript, Postgres, Docker. Looks nice, right? Improve performance of debit card application by 65%. Highlight these numbers, right? By compressing assets in Angular. Highlight this complete statement. Highlight. Implementing caching at Spring Boot application, which improved the application load performance by 20%. Highlight. Design multi-client HTTP reverse proxy and DMZ for all authentication. If you know which saved, again highlight the statement. Highlight the parts that I have highlighted here. The selected A that has single code base for design modular architecture of multi-client. This part highlight. Deployed microservices based application to multi-cluster based, that is fine. I received top performer. This should go. You don't have a section for achievements. Cool. No worries. Highlight this, and no need to put an I. Just like receive top performer of the team award in year 2021. Okay. Software developer, Tata Consultancy, sir, have testing team by developing automation for configuring applications was saved around. Again, this part highlight saved around 11 hours. Worked on complex front-end Angular, worked on PowerShell and Scissor to deployments. Other than that, the pointers are fine. Personal open source project which uses WebSockets to communicate in real time. This is fine. I also like made a WebSocket, a very basic WebSocket prototype. So yeah, WebSocket is nice. You would want to like put that project somewhere on Git and provide a link to this. Consider that. The application uses Git actions and Docker to auto deploy applications on Oracle Cloud. Nice. Very nice. This looks awesome. Consider highlighting few pointers here as well. Neo provides. You're working in Fidelity debit card management and you're working in BNY Mellon Technologies, like both of them at the same time. Looks fishy. You should be able to justify like how you are working on two different projects at the same time. And from the descriptions as well, both the projects are kind of looking competitor too. So make sure you're able to like, is this that BNY Mellon Technologies has a client as Fidelity, then it is fine. But be in a situation to be able to justify these things. Other than that, it looks fine. Currently working in Nice. Currently working on a chat application as front end. This looks good. Other than that, your resume is very nice. Just consider highlighting. It kind of fetches more eyeballs when you see those things is highlighted. Cool. Let me see if I still have the resume of. Oh, Fidelity is client of BNY, then it is fine. Right. Mention there now client of BNY, something of that sort, so that these things are like very well sorted. Like this confusion should not have been there in the first place, right? Aditya, I still have not received your resume, right? I mean, at what ID are you sending? Is it that for Parveen? I did not share the screen. For whom I was not sharing the screen. Can you guys tell me? Oh, was it for the last one that I did not share? Ah, okay. Let me open it up again. Let me open up the resume of Akhil again. I'll share. Akhil's resume was the one that I did not share, right? Is that right? Cool, yeah. That is his resume actually, right? It's one of the best resumes that we have seen till like today in today's session, right? So he has very clearly mentioned his name, his current profile, what he has done so far, his all his social media links, how to reach him are all provided here. Skills. See, I mean the good part, like in the first view itself, I see a lot of information that I would want to see for a candidate, right? All the skills, technologies, tools are mentioned here. What he's doing currently is mentioned here, his statement, his synopsis is mentioned here, his all his required links are mentioned here, and then he goes down to define further things which will be helpful. The one feedback that I was providing is like Fidelity debit card management. From here I wasn't able to make out that Fidelity is a client of BNY. So that is what I was telling him, that like put up somewhere that this was actually a client, right? Other than that, his profile is like very well laid out. Maybe like if you guys want to like need, I mean, you are looking for a template or need some help, you can get in touch with Akhil. Like this is from where he has obtained this template and all. Just ask him. You'll find some very valuable things in this resume. And the second is like once you have a good template, it kind of saves a lot of time because the template in itself guides you that what all is needed to be put in, right? So just ask him like from where he has found this template and all, and it will be good to like adopt this thing. The one feedback that I was providing him was like in all these things to highlight the terms. For example, 65%, improve performance by 65%, load performance by 20%, save 50% of the server cost. All these things were something that I was asking him to highlight so that I can like have a better view. He has made some personal open source projects as well. So this is also something that I was telling him is a very good thing. So this is also something that he can highlight, was something that this was something that I was mentioning to him. Yeah, cool. Mostly these things. So I still could not get your resume, Aditya. So let's connect again, right? I'll maybe like if you are connected with me on WhatsApp, you can send me on WhatsApp, right? And in the next session we'll take up your resume, right? For sure, right? So thank you guys, thank you for joining. Do connect with him for the template, right? His Akhil, for the template. His template was actually very useful one, so it is something that would really help you out. So yeah, so mostly that. Hope to see you soon, guys. Hope I'll try to schedule one session on the coming Saturday, and let's see like the resumes that we could not cover today. We'll cover them on the coming Saturday. Yeah. Okay. In the meantime, if you have any doubts and all, like feel free to ping in the chat. Like if you have my WhatsApp number, you can ping on WhatsApp. If you don't have the WhatsApp number, this chat is a really good medium. I'll follow the chat and I'll try to address the concerns or any questions that are put across on the chat. Yeah. Thanks you all. Yeah. Have a good day. Bye bye.